Having a little time before breakfast, I thought I'd better study the artwork on the outside of my hotel. Everywhere you looked on the hotel, there was something different. I think it'll be a while getting to the window. He should be okay as long as he doesn't poke the beer. Although this one has different ideas.
I think it's about time I got some sweat out of my t-shirts, don't you?
Unknown to a lot of people, I am fairly domesticated. After all, watching my wife wash my clothes for over 2 decades, I have picked up a working knowledge of how to do it. Since I decided to stop at this hotel for another night, it was time to hang the clothes out to dry and then just head out round the countryside again. This town seemed to be a bit of a tourist hotspot. Everyone seemed happy. Well, nearly everyone, except for this old boy. After a quick walk around the town, I thought must be getting near dinner, so I headed off and found a nice bar and grill. Arriving back to the hotel later that afternoon, I discovered that the bike race in the village wasn't finished, so I got myself down to the finish line just in time to see them cross it. Turned out it was a national race, so there's a lot of media cameras covering the event. The first guys over the line were a long way ahead of the main pack, so I was not surprised by how exhausted some of them looked.
Representant of Belgium, Ian van Wilder.
With the winners accounted for, it was time for them to climb the podium.
Drugim, reprezentant Wielkiej Brytanii in second place. Representant of Great Britain, Ethan Hyder. Na miejscu pierwszym, po fenomenalnym odjeździe na ostatnich kilometrach, znajduje się reprezentant Danii, Andreas Lorenz Kron in the first place. Representant of Denmark, Andreas Lorenz Kron. Jeszcze kwiaty dla zawodników. Panie i panowie, pierwsza trójka klasyfikacji generalnej. The best freeriders general classification. Nicolas Prudhomme, Andreas Lorenz Kron, Ian van Wilder. Oni na podium, oni zdominowali klasyfikację generalną Orlen Wyścigu Narodów. Belgii, the best team of Orlen Nations Grand Prix is Team
The spectators seemed impressed by the competitors' achievements, but myself, I was more impressed by how close one of the media helicopters had landed to a temporary marquee. One last look at the village as I made my way back to the hotel. Just time enough, I think, for one more ride as well, as there was one road out of the village I hadn't been down. Well, it was worth a look. And boy, was it worth it. I managed to find the other end of Route 66 I'd rode on a few days earlier, and some more cracking forest roads, along with some more breathtaking scenery. In the morning, I would start the journey to head back home, head northeast towards Germany, going through the Polish countryside. With the temperature climbing towards the mid-30s, this seemed to be a good enough spot for a rest and a bit of lunch. A quick look round the town before I hit the road again revealed a very nice market square. The locals certainly like their beer around here. It was only a small village, but I had a mini market close by, so getting drinks and snacks for the ride tomorrow was going to be no problem.
It's been a hot one day. 30 degrees it hit on the bike, so glad to get to this hotel. But then I thought to myself, oh, that's a nice room, nice size. Take my pick of the beds. And I thought, well, there's only a net curtain. There's no curtains. I ain't going to sleep very well at night, am I? And everyone can see me when I'm walking around stark bollock naked. Until I realised it does this. Which is cool. Problem sorted. Now I'll get my pants off.
Well, with said pants replaced after a shower, it was time to dine in the restaurant. Looking like something that St. Bernard would have made, the beef roulade tasted much better than it looked. And a pint on the terrace would round the day off.
Close my eyes and a calm descends on me. Take me with you. We soar to infinity. We're going at the speed of light. Bring me higher. You lift my feet up from the ground. I wish upon the shooting star that you make me lighter. And now you hit my heart with the speed. With the speed of light. We're going at the speed of light. Bring me higher. You lift my feet up from the ground. I wish upon the shooting star that you make me lighter. And now you hit my heart.
As I was homeward bound, a guy I know, Dave Harris, and his wife Linda, were then on the start of their trip from the UK, heading up to Gdansk for a ferry to Scandinavia. So we arranged to meet up for the evening, for a bite to eat and a few beers. Before I knew it, it was midnight. Time to head back to my apartment and try and get some sleep in the heat and humidity. I managed to get some sleep before being woken by the early morning commuters heading off to work. I also managed to find a good place to keep my Camelback drinking water cool for the day's ride ahead. I hadn't booked breakfast with this hotel, and since I was only a stone's throw from the centre, I wandered back in to see what places were open for breakfast. There were several places getting ready for the day ahead, but only one open. I'm sure you can guess by the chairs and tables what it was. I shared my breakfast with some locals, then planned my route home. I was going home a day earlier than planned due to the rise in the temperature. To me, riding in 35 degrees plus is no fun. It feels like you're in a fan oven, even at over 90 miles an hour. All that remained now was a couple of days of motorway riding across Germany and Holland to catch the ferry back to Harwich. The only interesting things I saw at video on the motorway stretches was in the service station toilet. Well, you have to find something to break up the day. A self-cleaning toilet seat and a urinal with a built-in telly. Now, I like watching telly, but there is a time and a place. Plus my aim isn't as good at the best of times. And that's it. Back on the ferry, and back to reality. Just have to get the MacBook out for next year.